Hi guys, so today we're checking out the Red Rock 4x4 manual hardtop hoist fitting all 2007 to 2018 four-door JK Wranglers. So taking the hardtop off of your Jeep is never an easy task. The hardtop is heavy, it's awkward, you always need an extra hand in order to take it off, and it can be pretty difficult to store. Now this option by Red Rock is going to be one of your easiest and most affordable solutions to all of those issues. Now this kit is going to come with really everything that you need in order to install it in your garage, including very heavy duty straps that are going to support the hardtop in the air. This is going to come with guides for each of the corners where the strap is contacting on the hardtop to make sure that the finish on your hardtop stays intact and is just looking brand new. And this is also going to come with some heavy eyelet screws and most of the hardware in order to get this installed in your garage. Now I personally really like this system because it's very simple and straightforward. It's very user-friendly and very easy to use, especially by yourself. So I would like to mention that you will need at least a 7-foot ceiling in your garage in order to install this, and with room underneath in order to park your Jeep. So I would keep that in mind when it comes to your garage as well as the lift on your Jeep. Now again, this is going to be one of your most affordable choices on the page at roughly $100. Perfect for somebody who's looking to keep it on a budget, but also wants help taking off their hardtop and doesn't want to grab another person in order to do it. Now in comparison to some other choices on the page, again, this is going to be pretty simple as far as the overall setup is concerned and how this is going to operate. And I personally think that the simplicity shines through. Some other choices can be a little bit more complicated when it comes to this. They may have a crank system with a cable, and they may have a winch included. Now those are going to be a little bit more expensive considering that some of those are powered and some of those have a little bit more to the system than this. Now my personal opinion, I think again, if you're just looking for one of the easiest ways to take off the hardtop by yourself in your garage, and you're also looking to keep it on a budget while getting a quality product, this is going to be right up your alley. As far as the install is concerned, I'm gonna give this a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, just because the process is a little bit lengthy and it does require a lot of attention when it comes to the measurements. I also would like to mention that you will need to outsource for hardware, not the hardware that's included in the kit, but hardware in order to install 2x4s and 2x6s in order to support the eyelet screws that are included in this kit. Now those are very easily accessible at any local hardware store and they are pretty inexpensive, but I would just keep that in mind when it comes to the install, and I'll walk you through that in just a second. Now with that being said, it's probably going to take you about 3 hours worth of your time to get this installed in your garage with some very basic hand tools. So speaking of that install, let's jump into that now. The tools that I used for my install were a drill with a 3/16 inch drill bit, a tape measure, a square, a dead blow, a 10-inch extension, a marker, a T25 Torx bit, and an impact wrench. So the first couple of steps to this install include getting your Jeep in your garage so we can properly measure out where the hoist is going to sit and where it's most comfortable for you to take off your hardtop. Now in order to do this, I would recommend to back your Jeep into the garage, making sure that there's enough room between the back wall and the Jeep so you can operate the hoist correctly. Then what we're gonna do is take the hardtop off after we've marked where our Jeep is sitting in the garage, and we're gonna place it in that same location. Now at this point, what we can do is install our guides so we can line them up with the studs in our ceiling and go ahead and install our hoist. So what I'm gonna do is take our front guides and we can install them on the inner corner of our hardtop. So these guides are going to be labeled, however, they only install one way. So this is the 4-door right. So this is going to sit right up in this corner here. And then we can do the same thing on the other side and then move to our back guide. Now these should pretty much stay in place. So our rear guides are going to sit in this upper corner here. This seal is going to align with this corner of the hardtop. So you can ensure that it's in the right place, and then we can do the same thing on the other side. So what we can do at this point, now that we have the guides installed, is take our plumb and hang it from the ceiling so we can align it with our guide. Now, what I do is just grab a string and tie a nut on the end so it has a little weight here. And then what we need to do is just make sure that with our stud up on our ceiling and with our guide, they're both in alignment. And I would recommend to have a tape measure on hand because you will need to measure about 1.5 inches back from this corner to make sure that we have the proper alignment. So at this point, what we can do is measure from our ceiling to our guide with our plumb. So what we can do is take a plumb. What I use is just a nut at the end of a string that's gonna weigh it down. And we want to align that nut that's hanging down with the top stud. So we wanna make sure that it's aligned and straight at the back. And then we can mark. I have already marked, but we can mark where that plumb is hanging. And then we can do the same thing on the other side and mark the other side as well. So then we want to do the same thing with the rear guide. So your rafter or your stud may not be exposed like mine is. So I would just hold the plumb just from the other side at the top of the ceiling and then let it hang down. All right. Just kind of want to position it where it needs to be. All right, that looks like it's in the correct location, then you can make a mark. Right, then we can do the same thing on the other side. So what we can do at this point with the mark that we've made from our plumb and our guide is measure about 7.5 inches forward. We're gonna do this with the other side, and then we're also gonna do this with the back mounting locations. This is gonna spread it out and allow us to hoist our top a lot better, considering that it's covering a little bit more surface area. From this mark, about 7.5 inches, I've actually already made a mark here. Just make another one. I'm gonna take a square. Once that square is in place, we can just make a mark. And we can do that for the other side and the other two corners in the back. So at this point, now that we have our measurements all measured out, I would recommend to double check making sure that the front measurement and the rear measurement are about 55 inches apart. I'm gonna do that in just a second, and then we can go ahead and grab our 2x4s or 2x6s, whatever you have available, and then we can go ahead and mount those up so we can get our eye-lag screws in and install our hoist. So at this point of the install, what we need to do is install our 2x4s or our 2x6s on the studs in the marked location on the ceiling that we just made. Now this is going to depend on the setup of your garage, if your studs are running perpendicular or parallel in your garage. Now I'm going to show you the way that I am doing it. I'm going to take our 2x4 and mount it across our studs. I only have 3 in my structure right here, but you want to make sure that the 2x4, the 2x6 is sitting on 2 studs. You will need to use a stud finder if you don't have exposed rafters like I do. So what do you say we go ahead and install our 2x6? So at this step, you want to make sure that you have your 2x4 or your 2x6 sitting across 2 studs. Now again, I have a longer 2x4 that I'm going to install and align with our studs, just because this structure is set up a little bit different. So I am just going to tap it forward into place at our marked location. So at this point, what we can do is secure our 2x4 or the 2x6 that you're using to our studs. Now you want to make sure that it's aligned with our mark that we made because it needs to be spaced properly in order to be in the correct location. Next, underneath the stud, what you can do is drill a pilot hole to make sure that your board does not split. I used a 3/16 inch drill bit. Then we can take a wood screw and secure this down into place. Now you will need to outsource for these. I am going to use this as well as a T25 Torx in order to install this. And then we can repeat that for the other studs. So before we go ahead and secure our last 2x4 into place, I would recommend that you just double check the measurement again. So again, it is 55 inches between the front and the back 2x4 or 2x6, whatever you are using. And we can go ahead and secure it down. So what we need to do next is install our eyelet screws. Now from the center stud, we need to measure about 20 inches over on either side. They need to be separated about 40 inches on the back rafter or the back 2x4 and about 62 inches on the front. So I'm going to start in the back. I'm going to take my measuring tape and I'm going to measure from the center over 20 inches on either side. We can mount up the eyelet screws on the back stud and then we can do the same thing for the front. So now that we've measured it out, what we want to do is drill a hole for our pilot hole. I'm going to be using a 3/16 inch drill bit. This is it. Now that that hole is drilled, what we can do is start to thread our eyelet screw in. Now in order to tighten that down, what I usually like to do is put an extension through, and that'll give you some leverage in order to get that into the 2x4. Now you want to make sure that the threads are completely inside the board and you don't want to over tighten it to where the part that's not threaded is going through the board. You want to stop at that last thread. All right, now we can do the same thing on the other side. So what we can do is measure the front now. So each eyelet is going to be 62 inches apart. So what I'm going to do is measure from our center stud or center mounting location over 31 inches, and then we can mark and place our eyelet. So now that we have our eyelet screws installed, we can back the Jeep into the same location that we first measured, making sure that it's going to be aligned with our eyelet screws. Then we can take the smaller part of our strap. This is going to be the strap and hook with the cam buckle attached, and we can attach them to the rear eyelets, making sure that the cam buckle is facing the rear of your garage or the away from the Jeep. We can do the same thing for the other side. So now that the rear straps are installed, what we can do is take the front straps, hook them to our front eyelet screws, run them underneath our hardtop, and attach them to the rear straps. So what we can do next is take our front strap, this is going to be the longer strap, and we can hook it through our eyelet screw. Then we can take the long part of our strap and we can pass it underneath this guide here through the hardtop and pull it out on the other side at our back glass. You want to make sure that you are strictly sticking to the hardtop. You don't want to wrap this around your sports bar. So I'm just going to pass this through and we can head to the back and pull it out the other side. Now the front part of the strap is sitting on the front guide. We can take this rear part of the strap, and this is going to sit on the guide just like that. We can, just for the time being, pull the rest of this strap out and put it on the top of our hardtop, just so it's not going to go anywhere. We can do the same thing for the other side. Now you also want to make sure that you're going in between the strut and the hardtop. You don't want to pull on this when you are raising the hardtop off the Jeep. So now what we can do is take the end of our strap and pull this through our cam buckle. Now this is going to be a one-way style cam buckle. So once you hit that tab there, it's going to release. So you'll be able to pull down, you won't be able to pull back. Now when you tighten this up, you want to make sure that on both the front and the back, we're sitting in those channels there, or those guides, and we can do the same thing for the other side. So at this point, making sure that your hardtop is completely unsecured to the Jeep, you want to make sure that all of the Torx bolts and the harnesses are disconnected and the Freedom panels are off your hardtop. We can go ahead and hoist it off the Jeep. So how we're going to do this is basically evenly pull on either strap. So I'm going to pull on this side a little bit, then we're going to go to the other side, kind of go back and forth until it's evenly and completely off the Jeep. And then we can drive the Jeep out and store our hardtop, should I say, up in the air. So once you have your Jeep back in your garage after you've taken the hardtop off and it's time to put it back on, really all you have to do is evenly lower it down just like we did when raising it up off the Jeep. We have to kind of go back and forth a little bit, but all you have to do is push this cam buckle in, and I like to hold the strap as I do it just to control it going down. But again, it's a one-way system, so once you just clamp the cam buckle, it'll kind of even out. If you want to push up on the back just to kind of level it. And get it lined up. And once there is slack in the strap, all you have to do is pull the strap out and unhook it from the front, and same with the other side, and then you'll be all set to go. You just have to make sure that you secure your hardtop properly and put your Freedom panels back on, and then you are ready to drive your Jeep with the top back on. So that is going to wrap it up for my review and install. Make sure you like and subscribe. And for more videos and products just like this, always keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.